Hey everyone. Hi, it's Friday. Marcia Grace here, your Calm Creativity Connector. And I am so excited today because we're changing up our format for December a little bit because I thought it would be nice to share some good positive energy for this holiday season that's going to be so different for most of us, I'm sure. So today I want to make sure that we enjoy the ability to meet someone I find absolutely fascinating, sweet, wonderful woman. She is an author, she's a writing coach, she's so many things, as you'll find out, and has so much to teach us and show us. So let us get to that. And this is the first time we're doing this, so I am going to see how I can get her on. So let's see if she's here. I'm looking for you. Where are you? Diane Riis. Diane. Come in. I'm looking for you. I think I see you. Yes, there you are. Okay. Here she goes. Hey, there you
How are you?
are. Oh, great. All right. Well, yeah, you gotta, adjust yourself so we can see. I love the castle behind you.
Thank you. My Harry Potter, that's Hogwarts. Okay.
Absolutely. Bring it up a little bit so we can see your whole beautiful face.
Thanks.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, welcome to Calm in the Center of the Storm. We are here because I'm here every week for the last umpty months, attempting to bring some sanity and some help to stressed out businesswomen, people who are just trying so hard to hold it together in what has just got to be the most unusual time I certainly have ever experienced. I'm sure most of us could say that. So, and I know you are one of those people who is doing the same kind of work in your way. So that's what I want to do. I want you to tell us today, from your perspective, how you stay calm, how you help your clients stay calm, and what can you tell us? So let me see. First thing, do you want to start and introduce yourself a little bit and tell people exactly what you do? That would be great.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
I'm a writer and a writer's coach, but the real work I do has to do with transformation through writing. So I believe that the process of writing can liberate us. Not only can spirit come through us and we can create, and I think what we create when we're in that state can just be remarkable. But it can be calming. So writing is a tool to explore who we were and who we are and who we want to be. Writing to bring a level of release and calm and letting go to our life. Writing to inspire others. I'll just share this real quick because I know we didn't talk about this, Marsha Grace, but it just happened and it was the coolest thing. A woman just wrote to me, someone I spoke to yesterday, about possibly working together, and she just wrote me a quick email that said, "May blessings chase you down." She just took 1 second and wrote to me in an email that made me go, oh, I never thought of it that way. And how cool did she use those words, to her and her world with her friends? Maybe they say that stuff all the time. I've never heard it. So it made me realize that with a few words that you write to somebody else, think about how you can de-stress them. So when we talked about doing this, I wasn't thinking in terms of what we can do for others, but how remarkable, like just in those few words, it really lifted my day. So I think, words are really powerful. That's the of my work, my coaching, my writing. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think right. I mean, as writers, I think it's incumbent upon us to, especially coming from a spiritual perspective, one that we want to encourage and support each other through this difficult time. So yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm so excited that you're here to talk more about this. So you mentioned how writing can help us de-stress, right? Can you be a little more specific in what ways that how people can do, in other words, for themselves? You have to be a great writer. How can the normal person who isn't an author go about it?
So many people. Can I just stop a second and say thank you so much? I've seen you. You're here all the time. You're so consistent that just seeing all of those calm in the center of the storm reminds me that someone is there ready to be calm for me in the center of the storm. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks.
One of the things I don't want to see people do is to attach a lot of stress to writing. And if you came up through the school system, chances are you had even if you were good at it, there was a grade attached to your writing. So this is not about that. And so I really want people to let go of, no one has to see it. There's no grade attached. You can use a pencil, you can use your keyboard, no rules, right? So one of the easiest things that you can do to use writing to de-stress is to first write just for yourself and know that you're writing just for yourself. Stress is really exacerbated when we show up to our day exhausted, haven't gotten a lot of sleep. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had a lot of sleepless nights with everything going on in the world and my responsibility and fears and anxieties, just like everybody. So if your sleep has suffered, keep a notepad by the bed, and before you fall asleep, all the normal thoughts that you perseverate over, you're just going to pour out through your hand onto a piece of paper. You're going to fold that piece of paper up and you're going to put it in the drawer or the closet or under the bed, and you're going to just say to yourself, this is handled. Think about, like my Harry Potter thing, mischief managed. You fold up the map, you fold up the paper, and now the sleep is, somebody's holding all that for you. That piece of paper, it's all going to be there tomorrow when you want to pick it back up. Maybe you never have to pick that stuff back up. Right, with that. The next thing is, I don't know about you, I have a to-do list. I have a list a mile long of everything to accomplish.
A mile.
Right. So instead of framing it as to do, which can also add pressure, and you look at the list and you're overwhelmed by the number of things on them, I try to reverse it. I put every single thing that I'm going to do in a day on a huge long list. And then I have the happiness of being able to cross it off and see progress immediately. So my list starts with get up in the morning, let out the dogs. And truthfully, by the time it's 9 o'clock, I have fed and gotten my kid to school. I've walked the dogs. I've put them in and out. I fed the dogs. I made coffee. I fed my mother, all of it, right? So you get down to the rest and you go, look at this list. I did 3/4 of it and it's only 9 a.m. So another little tip. The other thing is, don't call it a to-do list. Just call it the list. Call it got it done. Play with the words. You know what words will make you feel better. The off my plate list, however you want to do that. So those are just 2 quick ways. You don't have any skill whatsoever. And the last one I'll throw out there is a stream of consciousness mind dump. So when I used to do weekly presentations, a lot of times writing that manuscript or those notes prior to having to do that talk, I would get hung up. And I didn't know why until I realized that I had conflicting objectives. There was a thing I wanted to tell the people, and then there were all the fears, hurdles, thoughts, preoccupying anxieties, whatever it was that were subtext. So for example, there might be an audience, but I know there was one person in that audience who disagrees with me every single time I show up in a meeting. So you sit down to write and you can imagine you get a little immobilized because you're thinking about horrible Harry over here who's going to argue with everything you say. So what you do is you write all of those hesitancies, all of those fears, all of those concerns on a blank sheet of paper before you begin your presentation. You mind dump, and now you go on and you can do your work. And you can use the mind dump for any sort of thing that stops you during the day. I don't know if people get caught up in worry. That's worthwhile to put down on a piece of paper, ball it up, throw it away. One of the important things, and I know I talked to you about questions, but I'm just going to keep going. One of the important things about writing, one of the tools that writing...
You're on a run.
So there's an innate feature of writing that even those of you who are trying to practice your intuition, grow your intuition, be more tuned in to the world around you, to your body, to your spirit, writing uniquely does that because it is a physiological practice. Holding the pen or even touching the keyboard, your entire body is engaged in whatever this intention is, whether it's a process of creation or an act of, you can meditate through writing. You can allow spirit to come through you to help you solve problems. And the fact that you are using your body to do it is a little different than just, for example, I consider writing a form of meditation. So some people use moving meditation, walking meditation. My meditations often include writing. And here's the weird magic. You'll go back tomorrow and read that and not remember having written half of it. You won't know where it came from.
Happens to me all the
Yep.
time.
Magic.
That's how I write. Yeah.
Yep, magic. So all of those, that's just quick 4 or 5 things off the top, and I'll throw it back to you.
Wow, that was fantastic. I hope people get to hear this because what you just offered was so incredibly just useful. I mean, really, just anybody can do this stuff, you know. And I think so many times people um, say, you know, when they say somebody, they meet someone who's a writer and they say, "Oh, wow, you're a writer," and they're like so
Yeah.
impressed. But you know, I mean, anybody can write. It doesn't mean that you're going to win a Pulitzer Prize or something or a Nobel, whatever. But writing should come naturally, and there's no, the only thing that holds us back is ourselves, right? We hold ourselves back by our own judgments of who we think we are or what we think we can do, and that's always the first thing to contend with, in terms of how we stop ourselves from our happiness and our peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I talk about this all the time, you know, is to get in touch with what's going on inside my own mind that's preventing me from moving ahead and doing the things that I want to do.
And
Can you shed any light on that in
yes,
terms of?
I have a way into that. One of
Okay.
my books is called SHIT, How a 4-Letter Word Can Change Your Life. Because I have a belief that it's all of the words that we use to talk to ourselves that either limit or open up opportunity for us. When we become aware of the words we habitually use, something shifts irrevocably. You can't go back once you see the ways you're stopping yourselves with words. So, for example, I had worked so much on feeling I can and being positive. And I remember having coffee at a Starbucks with a therapist who said, "You use the word can't a lot." And I was like, "What?" I was outraged, right? Because I thought I had worked so much on that. And here was this person who's trained to see negativity in people. This is her career and her business. And after that, the clarity about using the negative there was really life-changing. So my book offers 25 different 4-letter words that we use so habitually that if we start to think about them differently and apply them in our own lives, it just creates shifts. So
What are a couple of the words? Can you give us a couple of the words?
can't, lost, lost is a big one.
Lost.
Let's see, hope. I think that hope can sometimes be a stopper to achieving what we want. It's a way to hang your hat on something that will probably never happen, but
The future, right?
hope.
Somewhere in the future.
There's nothing active. There's no inspired action about just plain old hope. Yes, do we have to have hope in our hearts all the time? Absolutely, we do. But we can't use hope in it. Well, I hope someday I have the energy to do that. Is a stop. It's the way you stop yourself. So wishing hope to others is somebody said to me, "Well, I hope you sort that out." That was such an Eeyore tone that the container for that word hope in that person's voice kind of convinced me that he hoped that for me. But in any case, so those are just the words I would love for people to take a look at it. I believe that we're ingrained from when we're little with this language, and it takes effort to take it apart and look at it. Similarly to writing, you just talked about not everyone has to become a Pulitzer award-winning writer, but there is, you talk about writing as a craft. And like with any joy in your heart, like you practice art, you practice gardening, you practice a sport, writing too can become a craft that is a beautiful, and also talk about stress relieving. When you are writing something that is of a creative nature, whether it's poetry or even a book, whatever it is, there's something very liberating about creating in that way. And I believe that all creativity is divinely inspired. If you are inspired to do anything, I don't care if it's tightrope walking, that is put in you by the divine, and you are absolutely called in this lifetime to at least explore what it would be like to try that, what it would be like to do that. I don't think there's any wish or dream, including writing, that was placed by accident. I think whatever it is we want that contributes to the world and our own well-being is a divinely guided tool for us to rise above any level of stress, because we're living who we're really supposed to be.
I agree. And that's why I teach what I teach, because so much of our day, about 99.9% of it, is we're engaged in the externals in our life. Who said this and what's going on and that's happening and all of that, and we're caught up in all those externals. So we never really give ourselves an opportunity to get quiet enough to hear what's going on inside of us.
Yeah.
And finding that creative, that creativity that's there, waiting to be experienced, and waiting for us to let it out, to let it out. But if I'm busy talking, and I'm not saying we shouldn't talk to people or anything like that, but if we're busy, with all those externals, and never give ourselves a moment to just get still and get connected, with the source, however, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You're doing yourself a disservice, right? It's a
Yeah.
great disservice. And yes, I agree with you 100%. Everybody can write, and if you have that instinct or desire, but you feel like you need some help, I know you're the person. Would you like to talk about what you do with clients? I mean, as a coach, you're a writing coach, yes?
Yes, I'm a coach for writers, and I'm a coach for dreamers. So people who do have that creative wish. So what I would love to I just have one more practice. I'm really about service. I'm terrible about selling my business. I'm terrible about any of that stuff.
Well, you have to tell us about it.
Okay. So my business is called Earth and Soul Publishing. So Earth and Soul, that's AND.com. And Earth and Soul Publishing helps folks who want to self-publish their book get all the way from idea to published. So I support women who are kind of new or at different stages of their careers. So I have designers at different price points. I have copy editors. I coach folks to write their books. I have others who help edit their books so that you could see the dream of your story or your book or your memoir come to life. But what I love to do is to work on the transformation that happens with the writer in the process of creating that book. So many of us say, I want to help someone by the book I write, and the number one person who gets helped is the writer herself or himself. And I think that is where my real calling lies. But before I talk any more about that, I have one more really cool seasonal thing that I would love for people.
I know what it is. I was just going to ask you, what is your letter to Santa?
My letter to Santa is like, okay, so I'm a coach, right? I'll never forget the first time my first coaching training day. And the question was, what do you want? And I don't think I'd ever in my lifetime been asked just straight out, what do you want? And I learned that that is the key coaching question. It all starts with, what does the individual want? Mm-hmm. The writing a letter to Santa exercise, you know how a little kid, they will spew out all sorts of wants. I want a pony and a tricycle and a gay boy. I want you to sit down and get a sticker or a picture of Santa Claus and stick it on the piece of paper. And then just make a list. Dear Santa, I want a better relationship, my house to be painted, someone to come and clean my kitchen for once.
Yes,
to go walk the dog, like every want you have, and let it be big and let it be limitless, and let the magic of something like a form like Santa Claus, just trust that that guy's up there in the North Pole ready to swoop down with his sleigh full of everything that it is you want. And it's a beautiful practice to help people dream. I want to give adults as much encouragement to dream as kids naturally have.
Oh my goodness, that's so great. You answered all my questions before I could ask them. But you know what I forgot to tell people is how we met, which is because somehow I came across your writers group on Tuesday mornings, and I have to just say, it's been such a blessing for me.
Awesome.
Really set aside that time for my creativity, and whatever it may be something business related, or which it usually is, or it may be something else. But just knowing that you're always there every Tuesday, saying, come on, women, mostly I've only seen women on the group, come and write, come and let's be together, let's support each other.
And anybody
So
can
thank you for
come,
that.
anybody,
Thank you.
right? We want to invite new people. I call it a writer's study hall, and we just touch base. You don't have to share your writing. You don't have to get a critique. You don't have to even
No.
tell us what you're working
But you can if you want. I mean, everybody's more than willing to, say,
on.
if you want me to look at something, I'll look at it. Sure. Yeah.
No,
So
beautiful. The energy, the vortex of us all working together is just a beautiful energy. The time flies. And it's Tuesday mornings from 9 to 12. It's a Zoom call. And Marsha Grace, I'm sure you can give people the connect or put them in touch with me. If anybody listening wants to be a part of that, they're more than welcome.
well, please let's have your information, because we could talk forever.
Okay.
And we've already run over the 15 minutes.
Oh, no, okay. So you can contact me at earthandsoulpublishing.com or earthandsoul at publishing@gmail.com.
Okay, so yes, so please, people, contact Diane and find out more about all the wonderful things that she does, because you will not be sorry, and you will be the better for it, to say the least.
Oh, please, and check out, if you have a chance to check out my book, it's called SHIT, How a Four-Letter Word Can Change Your Life. My last name is Riis, R-I-I-S, Diane Riis. And 2 more books are coming out. One is called Your Words Are Magic, and it's to encourage writers specifically. And the other is a cozy mystery. And my goal with my fiction is to make women feel like they are at home with good friends, and it's safe to put aside their world and just spend time at Morning Glory Farm, which is the place all my cozy mysteries will be set. So
That's great. So you have 2 books coming out, but you also have another book which you haven't mentioned, which is called Wishcraft, I believe. In fact, I have your ship book that I have, which is great. I love it because you can open it up anywhere and get a wonderful aha moment. Really, because that's what happens with me. But tell us a little bit about Wishcraft.
Wishcraft is a journal prompted so that you can create the wishes of your life and help them be nurtured and to come true. So it's a guided journal. So there are writing prompts inside of the journal. And the theory is based on Florence Scovel Shinn, who said, your word is your wand. And what you say and what you intend and what you write, it's your magic wand. And it is what makes things come to pass.
Ooh, I love it. Oh my God, what a perfect Christmas gift, holiday gift for somebody to give, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
I think so. All right, you hear this, people. Go get her Wishcraft book. All right, I think that is, we've covered a lot of territory. You gave such great ideas for people to help us out through this holiday season, because along with COVID and along with businesses going belly up and all the stuff that's happening, the difficulties that we're having with schools and kids and this and that, we need to support and help each other. So I am so grateful for you to come here today and offer us all these wonderful ideas, and that I know will be helpful. Just we have to put them into practice. Put them into practice. Don't just listen, but do it.
Right. And all of these can be in a minute. You can get that grounding through writing in 60 seconds.
So go right now and get a pencil and paper and stick it by your bed so you can do your, I love that one. That is so great, because it's true. How can you fall asleep when you've got all these things on your mind? Yeah. And that's actually part of my program that I'm going to be having in January, which, we'll talk more about. But anyway, I think it's time to go. I just, again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, many blessings.
You too. May blessings chase you down.
Yes, chase me. Bye-bye.